items?
I have a friend of mine back home who's a jeweler, and another friend of mine back in 1978 met with Lowell Hayes, and he bought a few original TCBs that Lowell had on hold for Elvis whenever he needed some. So I had given him one of those, and he made up some necklaces for myself, Bud, and a few friends, and our wives have the TLCs, and so they didn't come from Elvis, but they're just as good, almost.
Okay, and what's interesting is how many items do you own?
Oh boy,
You know that?
I don't know if we've ever counted. I know we have about 140 pieces here.
yeah.
We have several more at home that we couldn't bring, like some of his pistols we couldn't bring on the plane, and several large framed items,
right?
And some of the larger items.
And there's a lot of paper items too that just didn't work, in this exhibit. But that's why, basically, hopefully, when we get back, we have connections that we're going to try and contact and continue to collect different items. So if you come, let's say we come here next year, hopefully things will be a little different, and you'll see some new items, and always keep it changing.
Yeah. We have several hundred items now, and it's constantly as we acquire more, because we do a lot of research to track people down that had an occasion to be with Elvis, former girlfriends or somebody that worked with them on the set or something of that nature. And if we see a story of someone who, was with Elvis in any way, we contact them to see, what they had, and anything we can get our hands on, we include in the collection, because it's all a representation of Elvis's life, the personal side of Elvis. As we're real big on the behind the image, because most people know the legend, but not too many people know the man. And through our talking to all these people that we've gotten known over the years who knew Elvis personally, they show us a little side of Elvis that was exposed to them, and we try to take that and in the productions we do, in the books and DVDs, and as well as the King's Ransom exhibit, we're all about trying to show the man and the entertainer. So you see both sides, and I think it really puts a unique spin on things.
Was it hard to get in touch with the people who owned the things originally?
Not really. About 17 years ago, I had a good friend of mine, Donna Gaffin, who she had followed Elvis since the 60s. And she got to know, through going on tour with them, she got very friendly with Sonny. And back then, she told me, she goes, you'd probably hit it off with Sonny. You really need to talk to him. So I'd love to speak to him. So she was at my house one night, and she hands me the phone. She goes, hey, he wants to talk to you. And when we spoke, it was as if we knew each other our whole life. It was just a connection there. And same thing when I met Bud. It was the same exact connection. We just felt like, where have you been? It's like almost like a brother. And so back then, when I first met him, he had told me he had things in storage that Elvis had given him. And so little by little I hinted, said, did you go through that storage closet yet? And then eventually he did, and some items started coming that way also.
Maybe you can name your highest prized possession. Do you have a favorite one in your collection?
It's really hard. Several things. It's hard to pinpoint one particular thing. Several things have such unique meaning to me, and a lot of times it's because we've developed these friendships with people like Sonny and John. For example, I've always wanted a high collar shirt that you saw it just screamed Elvis, with the high collar and the puffy sleeves and the ruffle cuff, and we've been able to obtain several of those. But I'll never forget the first ring I've ever received, because Elvis is known for his flashy jewelry. Came from Sonny, and Sonny was up in Elvis's suite once when Elvis was about to go on stage, and he was rifling through his jewelry box, and Elvis said, "Wow, Elvis, that's a big one there," and Elvis said, "Well, here, take it." And Sonny's like, "No, I didn't say it so you'd give it to me." And Elvis says, "No, I want you to have it." So he gave it to Sonny, and then Sonny wore it for several years. So for me to have it, it's not just the fact that Elvis owned it and wore it on stage and in his personal life, but also the fact that Sonny, who's such a good friend, also wore it for many years. So it's kind of got a double special meaning to me. And I got another great ring from John Wilkinson that Elvis wore. He had a very large ring that most people are familiar with from That's the Way It Is, the very large black star sapphire that he gave to Sammy Davis Jr. Well, what most people don't realize is as soon as he gave that to Sammy, he had another one made a little bit smaller because that one was too big. And he wore that for quite some time before giving it to John Wilkinson. And John wore it for many years. So we have photos of Elvis wearing it in the exhibit and then photos of John wearing it. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful ring. So to me, those things, not only are they valuable, but I mean, Elvis liked to give them away. So it was like a token. It was something special to Elvis. Jewelry held some kind of special meaning to Elvis that he gave away, other than Cadillacs, he probably gave jewelry away more than anything. And to him, it held a special meaning. So to me, it's a special thing because it was so dear to Elvis that he picked that as one of the things to give away as a token of his affection to people that he cared about. So for us to have it from these people are a real treat. So that's some of my favorite things.
And it's really hard to pick a favorite because I walk through. I'm being a fan first. We're amazed when we walk through the exhibit. When it's all set up and done, and we walk through, I'm like, look at this, and. It's tough because I love the high-collared shirts, I love the bedspread, I love the spin-out jacket, I love the rings. But for me, the Bible is very, very personal. And, being it was on his nightstand the day he passed away, and there's a lot of underlinings to it and writings. It was just something that was so personal to him. It just has a special place in my heart, but I just love everything, to be honest with you.